At least 94 million Nigerians live below the poverty line. This is according to Oxfam. And the National Poverty Reduction and Growth Strategy is a poverty alleviation program created to achieve President Buhari's ambitious plan of lifting 100 million people out of poverty in 10 years. The program, through economic growth and social protection programs, would help accelerate poverty reduction. With more than a few programs already in place to achieve these targets, just how far has this administration gone in bringing Nigerians out of poverty? Dr.Tunji Ogunyemi, a public affairs analyst and senior lecturer of the Oxfam University in Ile-Ife, joins us via Zoom to discuss the high unemployment rate threatening President Buhari's plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Ogunyemi.
Thank you so much.
So it is not just unemployment. We have issues around our over-reliance on oil. There is weak or little or no revenue coming from the non-oil sector. We have, we're still servicing debts. That's a whole lot for the economy. Look also in conjunction, when you look at that in line with the COVID-19 pandemic. So how feasible really is this plan of the federal government? Dr. Ogunyemi, if you heard me, I was asking you how feasible the plan of the federal government is when you look at it with all the economic challenges we have at the moment.
I feel that the federal government's intention to lift people out of poverty has become significantly compromised. Compromised by excessive borrowing, and also compromised by the problems of insecurity in every part of the Nigerian state. This year, in fact, last year, 2020, the deficit financing of the budget accounted for actually 96.25% of the total revenue of government. I've read in the newspaper today, particularly the Punch, where it is calculated at 72%. I think that's too optimistic. The truth of the matter is that government expenditure, excessive expenditure in terms of deficit financing, is actually affecting the capacity of the government to provide employment. This is not helped by security crisis in every part of Nigeria.
So with all you just said, and then we also listened to, I don't know if you heard the Vice President over the weekend, where he talked about the federal government using common sense approach to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. What would common sense approach be when you look at, in line with all that you just said?
I just wonder what the Vice President meant by common sense approach. Ordinarily, you have the traditional approach and you have the public sector approach. Most of the time, the government is most likely to use the public sector approach, which is to instill in the budget or provide in the budget those measures, those fiscal measures that shall permit for the inclusion of a significant portion of the out-of-job population within this system. But for the common sense approach, I find it very difficult to understand what is meant by that. I mean, surely that is not an economic language.
Difficult to understand, really, especially when you look at the fact that our poverty headcount keeps increasing. Thank you so much for talking to us, which we had enough time to have more conversation on this. Public Affairs Analyst and Senior Lecturer of the Oxfam University, Dr. Tunji Ogunyemi.